Good evening and welcome to a special 30-minute edition of We're on the Ball with me, Adam Grice. Coming up on tonight's show, we will have a regular feature of Jeff and Matt's Wise Words. Guys, what are we discussing tonight?
The recent saga involving Rio Ferdinand being stripped of the captaincy is a hot topic at the moment.
We will be discussing who is the best man to replace the Manchester United star and whether youth or experience is more important.
In addition to the debate, Jeff and Matt will be facing up against each other in the weekly quiz in order to test their sporting knowledge. Also on tonight's show, I will be talking to the National Ambassador for the Football Association's Respect campaign. Truls is going to attempt to educate us on a sport from his native Norway as he introduces skiing to the British public. With the World Snooker Championships coming up in April, Jeff has been finding out what life is like on the amateur side of the sport. And finally, Matt will be looking at the potential demise of indoor bowling in Huddersfield, following the council's proposal to scrap future plans. If you want to have your say on tonight's show, you can text us on 81188. You can also write on our Facebook page at We're on the Ball Official, or you can tweet us at We're on the Ball. But now, with the time at 7:02, here's Truls Leanne with the sports news.
Thanks Adam, welcome to the Tea Time Sports News. The FA have hit Manchester United manager Sir Alex Ferguson with a 5-match touchline ban. It's after he criticised the referee in the defeat to Chelsea earlier this month. Ferguson said he feared the worst when he heard Martin Atkinson would be in charge. He'll miss the FA Cup semi-final against Manchester City. He's also been fined £30,000. Birmingham have accepted a Football Association charge of failing to ensure spectators did not enter the field of play. He follows the Carling Cup match against Aston Villa at St Andrews on December 1st. The club will have an FA hearing later this month. Ian Barraclough has lost his job as Scunthorpe manager. The Championship stragglers were beaten 3-0 at home by bottom side Preston last night. Speaking to Sky Sports News following that match, Barraclough was still optimistic of avoiding relegation.
9 games to go. We have to obviously make the most of every game. We cannot waste any chance. We've got some tough games coming up, we know that. But we've got to have the belief that we can go to places like we did earlier in the season, pick these results up.
Former England captain Brian Robson has undergone surgery for throat cancer. He's currently the coach of the Thailand national side and had an operation in Bangkok earlier this month. The ex-Manchester United skipper works as an ambassador for the Old Trafford side. He managed and played for both West Brom and Middlesbrough and was also in charge of Bradford and Sheffield United. Australia have gone back to the top of Group A at the Cricket World Cup after trashing Canada in Bangalore. They won by 7 wickets. There's more tummy trouble for England's cricketers ahead of tomorrow's crunch match at the World Cup. They need a win against the West Indies to stand a chance of reaching the quarterfinals. Ajmal Shahzad is the latest player to go down with a bug. But Graham Swan is back in action, as is captain Andrew Strauss.
It's par for the course in this part of the world. I think we try and take all of the precautions we can do. You just got to be prepared to ride them and hopefully make sure guys get better quickly enough to still be able to play.
There are 2 new faces in Ireland's starting lineup for Saturday's Rugby Union's Six Nations showdown with England. Andrew Trimble makes his first start of the championship on the left wing, while Jonathan Sexton comes in for Ronan O'Gara at fly half. Luke Fitzgerald drops out of the lineup as well, with Keith Earls switching to fullback. Sizing Europe has won the big race on day 2 of the Cheltenham Festival, the Queen Mother Champion Chase. The 10-to-1 shot, trained by Henry de Bromhead and ridden by Andrew Lynch, came home ahead of defending champion Big Seb. Captain CB was third. Luke Robinson is ready to play for Huddersfield Giants against Super League champions Wigan at the Gala Farm on Friday. Head coach Nathan Brown said Robinson is fit and ready to go. The 26-year-old missed the start of the season after undergoing major shoulder and elbow surgery last November. That's it from the sports desk. I'll be back in half an hour with another update.
Thanks, Jules. Matt, have we had any texts so far?
Yeah, the texts have been flooding in. We've got a couple for you here now. The first one's from David in Bentley. He thinks that Ferdinand should have stayed as captain. He did nothing wrong, leads by example, and Terry's whole family is scum.
I just want to make it clear that these are the views of the listeners and not of We're on the Ball.
Also, Andy from Warrington says that it seems a backward-thinking step to me. It would have been better to have moulded some new, younger player into the role for the future.
I've just seen off Twitter a comment from former professional footballer Stan Collymore who says, "Is Capello going to lose respect from players and fans after making Terry captain again?"
Keep your thoughts coming. You know where we live on both Facebook and Twitter. Respect is something that is lacking from the game we love. Gobby morons are ruining grassroots football, which is putting off young children from playing the nation's sport.
Don't look at me, move! Pass the ball to another player, score, you're dead, a goal!
Deborah Wyatt, the Football Association's National Respect Ambassador, explains how she got involved with the programme.
FA Grassroots Respect Ambassador was awarded on the fact that I had taken the programme and run with it, simply because I didn't think enough was being done.
The FA is making the recruitment of match officials a top priority, as the game is seriously lacking in referees to take control. In the past 12 months, the figures of recruited referees has rose by 7.4%. However, in comparison, the number of assaults on football referees has decreased by 13% in the last year, which shows that the players, coaching staff and supporters are starting to respect the officials more.
We certainly need more referees. If you look at a normal game on a Saturday morning for, say, an under-14s, you tend to find the man in the middle could be a coach or a manager, a father. Anybody that understands the game generally gets hauled in on a Saturday morning, so there certainly isn't enough officials. So we very much need to make sure that we recruit more and we retain more, and the only way that we're going to do that is for referees to know that they are supported and they are protected.
With the campaign now coming to the end of its third season, it has had a positive impact on the grassroots game. Wyatt believes that the adults need to get more involved with the campaign.
Adults haven't bought into the programme as readily as the youth. We've tried with adults and they've very much dismissed it because adult players get very fiery and angry when you tell them that the referee makes the final decision.
It is not just the amateur side which has taken a firm stand on respect. There are many Football League clubs that are getting involved and trying to promote the importance of respect in professional football. There are some standout clubs who have taken this campaign further than others.
Doncaster Rovers have bought into it brilliantly and have promoted it, but we can't go into clubs unless they, as a community, want to see respect, because the FA don't own it.
Huddersfield Town captain Peter Clark is in support of the work that the FA is doing, and he believes that his first team squad should be setting an example on the pitch.
The manager's he's a strict disciplinarian, and the discipline around the club and the respect between individuals is important, and hopefully that goes onto the pitch as well. So we've certainly, a respect for the campaign, and we're doing our utmost to make it work.
It looks like the Respect campaign is heading in the right direction. We can only hope that all the English clubs get involved and make disrespect a thing of the past.
This is the new Screwfix catalogue. This is over 17,000 products for on-site or at home. This is an 18-volt XRP DeWalt drill at half price. This is order online for next-day delivery. This is local branches to order and pick up your gear. This is how to get your free catalogue. Call 0800 68 78 88. This is Screwfix. This is job done.
Alright, it's now time for this week's controversial debate. This week we'll be discussing the topic of the England captaincy. Truls, opinions?
Well, I don't think Rio Ferdinand should have been stripped the captaincy because, okay, he's been out much injured last year, but when he's on the pitch, he is the right man for the job.
Adam?
I disagree with John Terry being reinstated as captain, but after the World Cup campaign, I think Steven Gerrard's the right man for the job. He totally led England from the front. He was England's best player during the World Cup. Rio Ferdinand's been out injured, so I think Steven Gerrard's the man for the job.
Certainly was a good captain. Matt, your thoughts?
Well, I disagree with all of you like usual. Most of the England squad at the minute will all be too old by the time the next World Cup comes around, and surely that's the next thing we're going to have to be aiming for. I'd give it to someone young like Joe Hart, maybe. Is going to be there for a few years in goal for England because we produce
Wasn't
rubbish
he a
goalkeepers.
little bit too young, isn't he?
But he's played England under 21 level. He knows the job. He's played in the Premiership for a couple of seasons now.
Do you think Joe Hart's got the right mentality to be a captain then? Do you think he's...
I'm a bit of a traditionalist personally. I think anyone, a defender or a goalkeeper, is the best suited person to be the captain of a side. Joe Hart's going to be in the side for a few years because there's no one else going to be challenging him for the goalkeeper spot.
Do you not think Gerrard in midfield though? Do you not think that's the best position because he can sort of go all over the park then, can't he?
No, because then that's not a defender or a goalkeeper.
No, but I mean, do you not think their midfielder would be a better suited person to be a captain? I know what you mean. Defenders and goalkeepers look forward at all times, don't they?
Yeah,
but
no, I still think that like Ferdinand or Terry, yeah, they've done a good job when they've been in charge, but they're both going to be too old by the time the next World Cup comes around.
Can I just interrupt? I think your leader's got to be in the centre of the park. That way they're going forward, they're going back. Joe Hart's too young to be captain.
So
Jack Wilshere's going to be too young to be captain. You've got to have he's going to have to be someone who's late 20s, early 30s, who's got experience.
But they're going to be too old by the time the next World Cup comes.
That don't matter. We're not thinking
it
about
does.
We're not thinking about the next World Cup.
That's going to be the next thing we've got to look for.
We're thinking
what about
now.
Euro?
We've got to plan
the next
for the
Euro
future.
Championship.
We're not going to win the World Cup. We're not going to win the European Cup.
Right, you may as well support Wales then if you think that.
They've got no chance either.
So
we're not going to win it.
Chance.
In our lifetime, we're not going to win the World
Hang
Cup.
on.
We are.
You've got to look forward. You've got to bring the youth forward.
We've got Manchester City fan Aaron Flanagan on the line. What point would you like to make?
No, I think it's totally right that John Terry's got the job, but first of all, I want to make a 1 point clear. Your pundit Matt Worthing went totally against himself. He claims profusely that he's a traditionalist, and he says that a defender or a goalkeeper should be the captain. But in traditional football terms, isn't one of the older, more experienced players the captain? I think that Matt is bang out of order making them comments, and he's gone totally against his will.
So,
any comments, Matt?
Hang on, Matt, come on.
If you have a midfielder or a striker, they're all getting on. They're going to be too old by the time the next World Cup comes.
You're not making any sense there, Matt. You're not making any sense whatsoever.
Who would you have then?
As a captain?
Yeah.
I think he's made the right move putting John Terry there. He's the right mix of experience, and he's got a good few years in him. And I think it's totally wrong that you're saying that he should have a 23, 24-year-old as captain who's not very experienced and can't lead the squad very well. I think you're totally wrong going against...
What's wrong with Rio Ferdinand then?
I think he's injured too much. I think it's definitely right to not have him as captain. Although I think he was badly treated. I think if you're going to be the England captain, you've got to be ready to play 95% of the matches. If Rio Ferdinand, he's only going to be able to guarantee to play half of the matches for you, which for a captain, he's not good enough.
Thanks, Aaron. I'm going to have to cut you off now because we're running out of time, but it was a great point that you made. Jeff?
Alright, just to wrap it up then, guys. One last word from everybody. Matt?
I'm sticking with what I think. Someone like Joe Hart should get the job.
Jules?
I still think Rio Ferdinand's the best option.
Adam?
It's got to be Gerrard. On a permanent basis for in the long term, but in the short term, it's got to be John Terry. Just see how England cope in these next two games.
Yeah.
Looks as if we'll have to agree to disagree then on this.
I'm sticking with John Terry. But thanks for your opinion, guys. Another debate next week.
Now it's over to our very own snooker loopy, Jeff Wise.
Snooker, one of many people's guilty pleasures, is once again getting ready to take centre stage in the sporting world this April. Snooker World Championship has a winning prize fund of £250,000 and can bring in audiences in excess of 2 million viewers. This is not the life for aspiring snooker players, however. Before reaching the stage of fame and fortune and touring around the likes of Beijing and Doha, comes years of struggling to pay for train fares between the likes of Preston and Woking. Leeds-born amateur player Dan Wormsley spoke about the everyday life of an up-and-coming snooker player and who his idols are.
There's only really one that, from Leeds, called Paul Hunter, but obviously he's passed away, so... And maybe Stephen Andrews, I think, is the greatest player that's ever lived.
Is this something that you'd like to do as a career, or is it just a hobby?
It's a hobby at the moment, but I would like to do it as a career if I ever got a chance to.
And how much touring around do you have to do?
It's most weekends. I play in a tournament, even in local leagues and stuff on a weekday night. But since September, I've had about 5 or 6 weekends where I've not had a tournament. So I do play quite a lot. Yeah, I get to go to all different places, experience different parts of the country, and